that you are being seen
with your fabulous brunch. Thank you.
Oh, that
I
was
love
sweet.
your
Thank
dress.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, you both were amazing.
Yeah.
So okay, who am I? I'm Talia. I have a show. I'm your colleague. I love it that
Yeah.
we both have podcasts here. We did training together.
Yes, we
That's why it's
did.
like so cool to be on your show. So I have a show here on Tuesday at 8 o'clock, and I talk to people from the Black and Brown community. And one of the reasons I do that is because I have a Latina exclusive business directory,
Mhm.
and I wanted to be able to like bring multimedia in, and then like other people from other communities. So we have a super good time.
Yeah, I see you out in the community. You highlighted, what was it, Little Mexico, that restaurant, which I have to
Yeah.
go to. That
Oh my
food looks
goodness.
so good.
Yes.
I saw the picture with Jay and Mouse, and I'm like,
Yes.
dang, I want to bite that taco
Oh my
so
goodness.
bad.
Okay.
How was the food, Jay?
It's great.
Really? The prices are reasonable as well.
Yeah, and the thing that's fun about there is like you're gonna go and you're gonna learn something. So she shout out to Elder, you already know. They have a lot of Mexican culture, specifically from Mexico City. So like candy and like stuff that you would buy there. My AJ, my son, he just went shopping. He was like this and this and this. I was like, this is a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't come here for that. But it was fun, like because now I know to anticipate that and that he'll learn something. And then the other thing about the tacos is like every different place in Mexico makes like tacos like their different way. So hers is like made like Mexico City, and they're lit.
Oh,
Like
wow.
they are so
Super
good.
lit.
Really? You know, I did not realize until I moved to Chicago. Now, keep in mind, everyone, the tacos that we eat are not the tacos that are normally
Yeah,
eaten.
no.
Those are not the
Chicago is a whole different situation. There's
Yes.
any taco lover, shout out. There's a documentary on Netflix.
Mhm.
Chicago has its own episode of just
I
Chicago
believe it,
tacos.
because they are, yeah, totally delicious.
I've never been to Chicago.
Oh my, it's a whole experience.
I can't wait to go.
Eating tacos in Chicago. It's an entirely different experience. It's not the greasy taco that comes in the, wrapped in the white paper that we get from like gyms or
Oh, yeah,
Broadway
no.
Bobbies.
Yeah.
It's a totally different experience.
I felt really blessed to be able to do that interview, and like we talked with her here,
Yeah.
and then or we went there, or where did we go? We were here first, and then we went to the restaurant. But either way, it was cool to be
We
able
went there
to.
twice.
Yeah, we went there twice.
Wow.
Yeah, and my son's birthday is May 1st, and I was like, I should have a Cinco de
Yeah,
Mayo
I was
party.
just about to say that.
Right? But I'm really excited to just like know them because
Yeah.
I love doing business. So I talk about values-based business. Like I love doing business with people who I feel like our values align. And I
Mhm.
really am so excited that Mexico City is part of the 716 Live family.
Pretty much.
So Jay,
Carrying the vibes.
the tacos were bomb. What did Mouse think about the tacos?
Oh, it's a great button up here.
This one?
Yeah, the one next to it. Yeah. Is that the one you think? Oh, there we go.
Oh.
There it is.
Oh, we have sound.
Mouse is extremely picky with food. Like she doesn't like anything.
And she liked that.
She loved it.
Oh.
Yeah.
She had me excited.
It's so good. So yeah, that's part of what I want to do too, is like go to local restaurants and talk with them about their business journey, and obviously eat. So I am, like I said, a food-centered person. My professional work is around food. A lot of my life revolves around food.
So where's the next spot?
Yeah, he knows this. I'm like to confirm.
We have to go like 716 Live
Yes.
Yeah,
down
definitely.
Yes.
to these different venues. If you are listening right now, wherever you are listening, put some restaurants in the chat that we should be visiting right here in the Buffalo area. I don't care what type of food it is. If there's a spot, because Buffalo has the best food
Absolutely.
We have a food
ever,
culture.
right?
It's
Ridiculous.
a situation.
Yeah.
Listen, okay? I've been different places. You guys have been there. Buffalo has the best food.
Mhm.
So if you guys are listening right now, put in the chat. If you are watching the replay, still put in the chat places that 716 Live and the family should be visiting, hitting up this summer. We may document that and highlight them, or even invite them to the studio to come and cater for us.
Or come eat your food.
Yes, right? What's your favorite food?
Tacos.
Everything. If it's cooked right, I'll eat anything.
He's very like I think open to
Anything.
trying different foods.
Yeah. Except
Tomatoes.
real Chinese food, I can't do. like
from New York.
from, yeah, or China.
Yeah.
Or
It's,
Toronto, they have a lot of real Chinese restaurants.
when I went to New York City and had Chinese, well, New York City has the best Chinese food. They really do, aside from
Mhm.
Buffalo. But when I had gone, they had like ducks hanging up in the
I'm with that.
but it
Yeah.
was good.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even. I was just.
That's why I
it
like you. She was
so
like, no, it was
good,
good.
though.
They're real.
But just that they were like just out there, just hanging up,
Yeah,
and you can pick
they
your own
want to
duck.
let you know they're eating the duck. I love the like different mixed because I'm mixed, so I like the different mixed restaurants where they purposely pair cuisine. And I remember the first time I went to a Chinese Latino restaurant in Manhattan, and they're speaking Chinese, and then they started speaking Spanish, and I was like, Papi, what? But people carry culture and language so fluidly in New York that I think it's expressed in the food.
Yeah,
It's all just like a mix. It's so good.
it is.
Shout out to la harina de chicharrón, tú sabes.
What she said.
Chicharrón.
So let me ask you both this, because my kids are older, and you both have younger kids. How is it maneuvering parenting and growing your business? Because you both have these dreams. How is that maneuvering both and making sure that nothing too much as far as the parenting side falls through the cracks?
Jay, do you want to answer first?
Oh no, ladies first. I'm a gentleman.
Okay.
I'm a gentleman.
One, I always have had the privilege of having a lot of help. And I think parenting starts prenatal, right? So like I have an amazing like grandma, like my son has an amazing grandma. And then like my parents are very involved when they can be, because they live in Puerto Rico the majority of the time.
Oh.
But like it's really because I have that support system, or he would be here with us because he's appeared on Western New York Talking Peace with me and like different, because I'm like, you're coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that it's been a blessing because it's given him the opportunity to learn about business very early. And then he's launched his own business, which is amazing. And he told me, he's like, you should make mini pasta. That's what he said to me this morning. He's like, for my event. I was like, you don't even eat pasta, brother. Like, he doesn't. I was like, where would you get that from? But he's excited.
I
So
think it's so dope, though. Like this weekend, seeing Mouse like just working that crowd, it
She's
was
talented.
like, oh my goodness.
she's talented.
Like, Jay, how do you maneuver both?
I think I look at things differently. I don't really look at it as a work or business. I kind of just live in life and include her in it, I guess. Yeah.
I like that. I like how both of you are living life and including your children in it, because they are learning to be entrepreneurs very, very young. Very young, which I think is so dope, because that gives them other options. Like, everyone doesn't need to go to college to achieve anything. And right off the back,
or there's no
giving
right
them
time to do anything
Right.
too. And I think that's one of the things I've learned from the younger generation.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was, I always tell him I prayed for you, because like I had a baby compared to like my cousins, like later in life. I was like 27 when I had a baby.
Okay.
So as a Puerto Rican, my cousin's kids were already like 10.
Yeah.
She was like, what is you doing? I was like, so like I felt like I waited long enough where I was ready. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What about you, Jay? Do you feel like Mouse like kind of say? I feel like my kids saved my life. You know, in many ways, they put me on a path to become, because without them, I feel like I wouldn't have cared as much.
Yeah, I think for me, my daughter gave me purpose, more purpose.
Yes. Kids give you a different outlook on life.
Oh yeah, they're a huge inspiration. And I think that I always talk about this because I felt strongly when I was a young person that I was not heard. So I feel like ageism is a real thing, and I'm always fighting against this notion that like children can't be excellent or that they're not right or like something like that. Like, they keep it real. My son, he will tell you like way more even than an adult. So I feel like in some ways they keep us accountable.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. You allow him to have his voice.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And one of the things too is I check myself, because I have to tell myself, Talia, stop and listen to him. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I'm like, wait, Papi, what did you say? And I just like try to pause.
Yeah.
I do that. Mouse is a genius too. So it's been a blessing to come here and to be a community full of other people who like their family is inspired. So it's mom and pop business day at the end of March. And yeah, for Latinas in business, I wanted to celebrate it so much. And I was like, that's like the story of everyone here because everybody's business is like a family business.
Yeah.
I'm excited to celebrate.
Oh my goodness, that's so dope. So did you imagine yourself working with Mouse as your partner, Jay?
Yeah, I did.
It's a
Did
privilege.
you?
You're lucky.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, the way she worked that crowd. I mean, she was taking pictures and stuff. That was amazing. And AJ's writing books.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, so
yeah.
talk to us about AJ and his book. We're gonna have to get him up here to
Facts.
interview
Okay,
him.
so he said to me,
Absolutely.
he said to
Facts.
me that like it's like you're reading my mind. He said to me this morning because tomorrow I'm on 91.3, and he was like da da da. He want to stay home, and I was like tomorrow I'm on the radio. He's like I want to be on the radio. I was like say less, say less. It's coming.
Bring him
It's
up.
coming. Yeah, I want to do like a kid podcast where if you have a kid business, like come and holler at him. Like he'll, but they need us to support them.
Oh my goodness, I would be so willing to be, whatever I can
Yeah, of
contribute
course.
to that because
Yeah.
kids are our future, everybody.
Right.
And this is exactly what they need. Shout out to Christian Russell. Thank you so much for joining. And Beauty Lewis, am I reading that right? Yep, Beauty Lewis. Thank you, everybody who's joining right now. I appreciate you all. So let's get on with some questions. How was your weekend?
My weekend was excellent.
Yeah. Did you do anything spectacular?
Yeah, I stayed home.
Yeah.
This weekend was a weekend where I was like, I'm purposely self-isolating because I needed that like time to like just, come away from the world.
Mm-hmm.
And like every other day I have identity crisis. So like over the weekend I sorted it out. And by Sunday I was
Thank you
like,
for
I
being
am
honest about that.
ready. Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
biracial. I'm Scottish and Puerto Rican in
Yeah.
part. I'm like, God knows what he did.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot. And I'm from Buffalo, so
Yeah. Thank you, Talia.
yeah, no, it's fun.
What about you, Jay? I know you had the event. Anything else you do special this weekend?
This weekend,
Yeah, anything interesting?
I don't even remember. I don't know. My days are all blurred. I have no
He's
idea.
so
Running together.
mysterious.
I
I know.
know.
It's like part of the mystique. Yeah.
It really is. It really is. I think you do that on purpose, Jay. You do it on. Did when you guys were growing up, did you imagine this version of yourself?
I mean, me, I did. Yeah, definitely.
Did you? Did you always kind of know that this is what you were going to be doing? That you were going to be like this boss man and
I'm not.
no, it's all right.
I know.
Because we don't get that.
I've always
Yeah, of
been.
course.
I've always been who I am. Like I never went through some kind of like finding myself stage or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
I never-
lucky.
Maybe that's a woman thing.
I don't think so.
I'm always going through the finding. I was finding myself this morning. I'm always going through it.
But I think allowing yourself the space to be imperfect allows you to grow. Like I always say, like I'm attracted to people who have a growth mindset or adults who want to learn things or learn things about different people. And I feel like that's one of the things that I try to like give myself is like, some people would say I give myself too much room to, be my true self. But
That's great.
it'd be like that.
Yeah, I am learning more and more to embrace who I am. Sometimes I have to tell myself, don't shrink yourself. Don't shrink yourself because everybody's not accepting of this version of me. That's one of the reasons.
And this is the one I love.
Yeah.
I'm like, who? What? You're gorgeous all the
my
time.
God, thank you. It's listen, you all. It is a challenge.
It's been amazing to see you interview, though. That's why I was excited to come because some of the people that you've interviewed and the conversations that you posted, like they're real conversations. And I'm like in your cohort, like we started together. So I'm so excited and very proud of you. For sure.
Thank you, Talia, and as well. I love how we can network together.
Yeah.
And there's one of the things that I thought was so awesome when I first met you is that I really genuinely liked you.
Thank you.
I don't always get along with women.
I wasn't feeling super friendly that day either. You saw it.
Yeah, but you still
But you were
came
still
across-
nice.
Yeah. because I got your energy, and Jay too, even with this mystique about
Yeah.
you. Like, it's just, I'm grateful that you even created this space for everyone. So tell us, Jay, about one of the reasons, well, the many reasons why you decided to create this space and allow me and Talia to come up here and just like
Yeah.
be ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, that
Why are you so brave?
Yeah, right.
well, that right there, like it probably subconsciously stems from myself, like me wanting to be myself, and kind of what you were saying a few minutes ago, as far as like I never had an issue with like finding myself, but I did have issues with maneuvering, trying to figure out like like how you said it, like dimming your light or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what I hear a lot of people say when they come through 716 Live is it feels free, like they can be themselves. As a matter of fact, that exact phrase, they can be themselves.
Yeah.
So I probably subconsciously, that's one of the reasons I probably created this space. Yeah.
Like, I feel like you build a culture of belonging, and like people feel that energy.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, welcome.
Yeah.
Just don't eat my candy. But that's why I call it my home studio, because I do really feel comfortable here.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
This is home away from home, and it feels amazing being in here with so many like-minded people.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And it helps me like get out of the house, because in the winter I don't always go too far, like just work, the store and stuff like that. So it's fun to also like have some substance during the week and travel outside of my little neighborhood.
So tell us about who Talia is, because Talia is more than just.
Look how nervous I get. Hey,
Talia
So-
Rodriguez is a lot.
Right? So talk to us, Talia. I want to introduce the world to who Talia
I'm
is.
so nervous
because
about
you
that.
are like, I don't want to say an anomaly, but a lot of people would not realize just what you really bring to the community, the value that you bring to the community.
Let it all out.
Yeah.
Shut up. I was going to say you first. Like, tell them who am
He's next.
Okay, so concisely, I would say I'm an organizer. So I'm a community organizer, and that's what I feel like I do by profession. And then that just happens over different infrastructures. So predominantly education. I grew up in the West Side, and I always tell people I was biracial before the Gap commercials. Like, my shit was not cute. People were not accepting. They were like, "Oh my goodness."
Was it horrible growing up around here?
It wasn't horrible, but it was a really extreme dichotomy between the way people would treat me depending on how, like, what family they thought I was a part of. You know what I mean? And when I was like, oh wait, out here in Amherst, it's a little bit different. Like, those were the moments, I think, as 7, 8, 9 years old, where you recognize, like, this adult doesn't like, there's nothing I can do for this adult to like me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So
Is there colorism as well?
in the
Did
Latino
you
culture,
experience that?
I don't know. I don't think, like,
No.
yeah, but also just more like the culture, right? So Puerto Ricans, we have a very specific dialect, because like certain words are in trend based on the news, based on just a bunch of stuff. So like even before, like shout out to Rincon, they were like Team Rubio. Like if I say that, like they know. So for me, it was like going in and out of the West Side. So sometimes I wasn't as connected to the language, and I look crazy. Like I look crazy. So they were like, "Oh, you sound white and you look." I was like, "I'm just here. My mom just dropped me off.
Yeah.
Like, what's up?"
Yeah.
So
what about you, Jay? How was it growing up in Buffalo? I always like to ask that, especially if you are of different ethnicity, because kids can be so harsh growing up. And I have biracial brothers, god brothers, and they always said that they never felt like they fit in with the white culture or the black culture. So it was so difficult for them, and especially as young men growing up, and then we grew up in the project, so that
Yeah.
made it even more difficult
Wepa.
because you're dealing with kids who have their own struggles, and because they have their own struggles, they want to take it out on you.
Yeah, the project is my favorite.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. I was like, big Wepa, tú sabes el caserío.
So what about you, Jay?
I think, well, for me, so my story briefly is like I didn't know anything about race until I hit high school. Yeah, I had no, how people say, you don't see color. Like I literally just didn't.
You didn't feel it.
Yeah, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like the color of your skin is the same thing to me as the color of your hair, or whatever color of your sneakers. Like it doesn't mean anything to me. But when I got to high school, I remember going into lunch, and I remember walking into the lunchroom, and I just saw like black people here, white people. That's not how my grammar school everything was mixed. But when I went to high school, like I said, I walked into the lunchroom. I noticed all the Hispanics over here, black people over here, white people over there, Asians over there, and a little mixed table right here or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, where am I supposed to sit?
The middle.
Right.
You sat in the middle, right?
Yeah, that's what you would do, Talia.
Yeah, or sometimes for me, like I would just sit next to someone who I thought looked lonely. Because I was coming from where I was coming from, could see if, especially in the suburbs, if one of my peers was struggling or if they had pain because of where I was coming from, So I would just sit with that person.
Yeah.
And then what's up? It's just me and you.
How do you broach the subject, or has it even came up as far as parenting?
In terms of
what's up, Audie?
Yeah, racism or
oh my gosh, yeah.
Has it came up already?
Of course, yeah, for sure. Especially because there's a lot of racism in the Latino community.
Yeah.
And like I just let people know, like I don't tolerate it. Just absolutely not.
Yeah.
In any form of discriminatory fashion or language. Period.
Yeah. What about, has Mouse had any issues like that?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's been a few times where she's used language that shocked me.
Yeah.
And I ask her, like, where do you get that from, or why do you say some of those things? But it's from school.
Yeah.
And so that's that. But as far as like, I not that I know of, I don't think she's experienced like racism yet. I'm sure it's coming, but
yeah. Unfortunately, it's as parents, we want to shield our children from everything, but we can't.
Right.
Yeah.
We can't shield them from everything. So, what do you think is your greatest accomplishment right now?
My son.
Yes.
Yeah, my doctorate is really close second, just because I even last night I try to give myself context. Like, not until the 1960s did they have over 50% enrollment in elementary school, in public school in Puerto Rico. So like I come from a culture that education and higher education isn't part of our cultural tradition. It was a lot homeschooling. So like I think 1% of Latinas have doctorates, or 2 or something like that, and I be flexing because I paid for that. I paid for that too, like de dinero. So that's a close second.
What your doctorate?
Oh, okay. So I have a law degree. I have a master's degree in public policy. I have a political science degree. I was the second Latina intern in history to work at the U.S. Supreme Court. I was there when Justice Sotomayor opened her chambers in D.C. It was Obama's first year. And like I've since done a lot of work that has been like advocacy based. Yeah. So I'm a dork. I'm a historian. I'm a dork. Everyone who's watching is like, we know you're a dork. But yeah, so I think for me, because I'm a political scientist, history is really important to me. And I had to remind somebody, like in Puerto Rico until 1930s, like women could be arrested for wearing pants in public. Like there was a lot of like gender policing and stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to wear what I want. Because we just got these rights.
Wow.
Like we literally just got these rights. Yeah, for sure. And I didn't know it either. Like I wasn't taught about my own history in political science. Like I was taught the history of the nation through the nation's lens. And it was a beautiful history, but it was just mine, the way that my identity was at that time. I needed like more substance about Latinos. So I like went to go look for it. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, Grandma.
What about you, Jay? What do you feel is your greatest achievement right now?
I don't want to sound like a Copycat.
Why? Oh, because I said AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, AJ is definitely my biggest
Um,
accomplishment.
Besides Miles, my greatest accomplishment, just being where I am right now, I guess. Being like and I mean that in a mental space and emotional space. Yeah,
Well,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I would say that as well. Just being in this space that I'm in right now, being able to use the tools that I need to pull myself out of whatever it is I'm going through.
Yeah.
Because a few years ago, I probably would still be in the bed.
Yeah.
With my blanket over my head.
Yeah.
You know.
And look at those boots.
Yeah.
Hello.
Boots.
There's boots to be worn.
Okay.
The other thing I would say too is the food pantry. Probably helping build infrastructures where people can access free food has been really humbling. That's been really cool.
Talk to us more about that. So what got you on that path?
I decided to study policy because we were getting food stamps, and I asked my family like where they came from because I wanted to get more and earlier.
Yeah.
So I was like, so wait, who's handing these out? And I think for them it was difficult to explain it. You know, they're in the middle of their day. There's 8 or 9 other kids there. They're like, what you talking about? Where are they from? Like, just take your stamp to the store. Yeah. So for me, like at that moment, I like wanted to learn more about the government because everyone's like, el gobierno. They had the power. So I was like, so where are they? So I studied policy, and then because of my lived experience, I know food really centers the social reality of people who struggle. So I wanted to build infrastructures where people could eat because I went to those places.
Yeah. Well, that's
cool.
Dope.
It's been humbling. I'm really supposed to be like billing every 6 minutes and like filing appeals briefs and, you know, objecting. But not right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I object, believe me, but just in a different way.
Different path.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And Jay, you too. Like, you are not what you do in your everyday life is not, well, it's part of it. And I guess it's a good thing that you are knowledgeable on the IT side. But talk to us about your regular. Like, yeah, what do you do?
What's your passion?
My regular, no, 716 Live is my life.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
It feels good saying that.
Yeah, I you know, like for me, I just made a decision about a year ago to give it my all. I gave myself a time limit. It's 2 years, so we're halfway in right now. That I'm just gonna give it my all and take it where it can go and see what happens. So this is my life right now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. I always tell Jay he's messy because I feel like he knows everybody's business.
But we don't know anything, right?
Yeah, I'm like, you know people's business. And when he tries to call me out on stuff, I'm like, you know, I'm nervous right now. I can't answer no questions. But like, I feel like in that way, because I work with you of saying like you're a confidant for people and you help guide them. So I feel like that's part of what you do.
Yeah.
That's why I call him messy.
Yeah. How does it feel having all of these people look at you as like the leader?
You know, I really don't think about that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think about that much.
Yeah, but you are.
I know. Yeah, right. I understand. Yeah, I understand that. So I just make sure that when it does cross my mind that you know, it helps me make sure that I guess I'm in line with what everyone's trying to do and make sure I'm doing the best I can for them. Yeah.
Is this part of your hopes and dreams, how it's turning out right now? You can look around and see.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty much, you know, it's pretty much exactly what I had envisioned and within a timely manner. So I have no complaints.
Did you set goals for yourself this year?
No.
Yeah.
Not as much as I should. Mm-hmm. I think part of my ADHD stops me from like being as organized as I need to be. But one of the things I'm trying to do is set deliberate goals within the day, so that way I'm in more control of my time. Because the day, like, I just feel like I'm like, oh, it's 2 p.m. already, and I'm like, did I do all these things I wanted to do today?
Yeah.
You know,
I struggle. That is something that I'm struggling with, the time management and making sure that I have time for everything.
Yeah.
And what I've been doing these last few weeks is just taking it by the week. So it's like, okay, whatever I wasn't able to accomplish last week, I'm going to do more this week. So I feel better about myself, just taking small, realistic, bite-sized chunks out of what I can do so I don't get overwhelmed, because ADHD is real.
Yeah, it definitely is. And
Very real.
I heard this phrase, it's like, don't be okay with disappointing yourself, like pretend it was like another person. So I don't like to disappoint the people who like I care about. So I'm like, if you wouldn't want to do that, like, do you know what I mean? Like you have to treat yourself like that. So I'm trying, but I'm trying to be braver.
I like that.
More authentic.
Yeah. I didn't set goals for myself either. I just, like, if I know I need to change something about myself, I start working on that in November, because I don't want to get like, oh my goodness, it didn't work. It's January 2nd and I quit already.
So I'm going to start telling people I'm 34. So that way, when I get to be 34, I'm fine. That's what I did with 30. I was like, they're like, you're not 30 yet. I was like, chill out. I'm getting it. Thank you. Goodness. I think it's the spirit. I really do. Like, I just feel very blessed. And I think that's what it is, right? Right? You look like gorgeous. So when you're like, oh, things I need to change, I'm like, I'm that friend that's like, she's good. Like, you're fine.
Oh my God, self-sabotage. I'm working at
that. I think you look wonderful.
Thank you.
Jay, what goals do you have for the studio this year? Like, is there a certain number of like shows you want to do, or?
No, not a certain number, just continuous growth. That's all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You feel like it's being achieved. The show, are you happy with what? You know what? I don't want to ask you that on camera.
No, go ahead.
Are you happy with the momentum and the growth of 716 Live right now?
Yeah, I'm definitely, I have no complaints.
Yeah.
I can't complain about anything. And then also just in doing this, you just have to be patient with things, and you definitely have to have faith in the process, because, a lot of times people want things to just like that, and it's just not how it works. It's just not once in a while you might hit the lotto, but no, not really. You got to go through the process. So, I understand that. And because, I've done a bunch of things in my life. So, this is.
He won't divulge how old he is. So
I
don't know if that's a lot or a little, or we have no idea.
So I know that, everything has a process, and, I feel like I understand what the process is for this, and we're going through it, and we're growing.
You looking at me like.
And it's continuous growth. That's another thing. Like, I'm in a blessed position to have continuous growth right now. Like, it's, there might be like little speed bumps here and there, but even then, relatively speaking, they're not. It's still growth. Like, every week or a couple weeks or month, like 716 Live is further than it was before. So I can't complain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you measure your growth like that? So if you are here, do you measure your growth by where you are within? I literally take it day by day, week by week, month by month.
Okay, so I didn't used to like look at how many views I got, because you didn't used to have the technology for that.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I was like, okay, I didn't know none of those numbers, but now I see like how many people look at some of the social media I make. So that I look at, like the one I was like 17 or like 1,000 in 30 days or something like that.
Wow, that's good.
I'm at like 2 now. I was like, Instagram played me, but I'm the same person at 2 that I was at 17. So like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? No offense, so Instagram. I know you're listening to me, but you know what I mean? It's like, so I'm like, as long as I put out fire content and I'm proud of what I put out, like whatever 2,000 people see it, like those are the right 2,000 people.
Yeah, you know what I tell people too.
I want the 17,000 though.
With stuff like that, like what I tell people is, forget the fact that it's like digital.
Yeah.
Imagine if there was 200 people.
That's what he said to me, and it really centered it. And he was like, imagine if you shook 49 people's hands or something like that. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
So
I received that. Yeah. Thank you.
That's what I'm saying. I'd be like, you're famous. I watch your stuff and I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is journalism. So I'm super excited and proud about where your trajectory is going and the type of people that you invite here.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited about the next upcoming month, because I don't want to just do music.
Yeah.
I love music, but I don't want it to just be focused on music. That's why I'm so glad that you said yes.
Oh, because I'm so boring. Like, I'm the opposite of a musician. I'm so
No, you
boring.
are not boring, and you bring so much value to the area.
Well,
You
before
really
we got in the
do.
air, I was trying to convince you to come to the Women's March. So this is the fourth year
Oh,
in the
yeah,
row.
let's talk about
Yeah,
it.
the fourth year in the row, I've had the privilege to help plan the West New York Women's March. I'm on the board I was a part of the board of the West New York Peace Center, and now I help plan the Women's March. But it is Sunday, the last Sunday in March. We're meeting on Niagara Square, and it is for all people of all walks of life across the planet. They told me to say that. Vicky, you already know Vicky. But it's centered around the narrative of women and the environment. So I'm super excited as a Puerto Rican because so many of my sisters have had to move because of climate change. Like, I'm calling them on Facebook. I'm like, Mamo. So we're calling for speakers. I have amazing speakers. I'm really excited about. I know. I was like, Vette, what's up? I was like, I told you. I was like, Vette, you want to be a speaker? And then I also asked you to interview people too, because it's an amazing momentum when you go speak. So we give you 2 or 3 minutes. And I did 3 minutes in front of City Hall, and those 3 minutes changed my life. That's part of why I'm here right now. So after, it's like you have this like aura where you're like, oh my God, I want to say more. And I'm like, you would be the perfect person to be like, go talk to Vette and say it on camera. Because like you get this momentum when you speak in front of people that's so exciting, but you can only have 2 minutes. So
that's going to be so dope.
I'm super excited.
I got a chance to speak at the D'Amica's Women's
Yes.
And when I tell you, when Jay did the video, thank you for capturing that moment.
I knew the whole before the event even started, before the day started, I knew in my head, I'm like, whatever happens, make sure you get Vette when she's talking.
Man, I broke down crying because I was so emotional. It's my story, you know, like that's my story, and I get emotional talking about it because I can't believe that, like, this is me right now.
Because you're in a place of victory. So you're like,
man, you couldn't get me, enemy. You could not get me. Keep trying.
Do that, Beja. I'd be like, Lord be offense.
Please and thank you.
Jay, did you have any reflections? You have anything you want to add to that?
Oh no, I agree with that.
Yeah, it was so awesome. But it made me. Thank you for sending that to me, because it made me realize just how much I love speaking to people.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I love speaking life into people because so many people don't.
But you did very well.
Yeah, and you do, like, if you don't already follow your morning messages, I find to be very inspirational. Because, you know, morning is a time when you need a lot of inspiration.
Capture your morning.
Your YouTube reels are popping.
People are watching you.
So I'm like, okay, she got some views on there.
Let's go.
I'm getting there. It's consistency with me. It's me being consistent.
Absolutely.
Right, the Joker? It's me trying to get there.
And just being like brave enough to put yourself out there, because you're present in multiple cities.
Yeah.
That I was always sweating that from the beat. I was like, what? And where else? Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
You know what? In 2018, I decided to change, and I also decided to stop being scared.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
You know,
I'm working on that right now.
Yeah. We let people just control our lives because we're afraid of their judgment and their crap. But it's like, man, you keep that baggage over there and let me handle mine. I don't want to stop being me just because you don't want to be you.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm used to it because I feel like I was never really accepted. So it's like I didn't have a fan club from the beginning. So now that I'm an adult, I'm like, so am I going to be worried about it? Because when I was 8, I didn't care either. So because I think coming into adulthood, people struggle to find themselves like they do in like the teen years. I feel like there's always an evolution, and it's like this fiction that when you become an adult, you're like, you know, I'm like, okay, yeah.
And it's so untrue.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do. I'm really excited though. I think one of the things that I did want to say about myself is I like to do community service.
Yeah.
And I'm totally civically minded because my grandma marched with Martin Luther King, and a lot of like my family members, they're like public servants. So Ramadan is coming, and it's like a dreary time in Buffalo. And like any excuse to do good work or to celebrate someone's holiday or culture. So I'm super excited about that. And like another reason to talk to people about why service is so important, like service is leadership. So shout out to all my people who you already know they're getting ready.
Yeah. So I know it's late. We started this late, but I want to ask you both what would you tell the younger version of you that was just getting into her own?
Well, I don't know. Wait, what? How old?
Like 13.
At 13, I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like taller. So they were, you're 13. I was like, I'm here.
Yeah.
So
Was it hard being taller in school?
well, it was just I looked older than I was, so it's the same height. I haven't changed since I was 13. But what I would tell myself was, ay Dios mío, yo no sé. Because I would tell myself, like, do what you want to do, but doing my, like, meandering journey helped me get here. But my number one instinct was, you're right. Like, I swear, that was, like, the first thing that came to mind. Like, you're right. Don't listen to nobody. Do what you want to do, bro. Yeah.
What about you, Jay? What would you tell your 13-year-old self?
The same thing?
Same thing. Like,
We're the same person. We're very confident. Like,
I would say, yeah, you're right. And
okay.
That's it.
As I'm looking at him, I have a better answer. Journal. Because I wrote a lot about like schoolwork and I have a lot of my voice academically, but I think if I would have kept a journal or wrote more poetry, because that was one of the ways I expressed myself, but only like in times of great tension. I didn't use it like to celebrate myself. Like I would try to like maybe recenter around those talents, but journal so I could, see the progress.
And learn to be selfish.
Not that I journal now, so.
You're to be selfish.
I feel like you are.
Really?
I am working on that one, man.
Oh no. Fight the patriarchy. You already know.
Oh God. I am working on. I don't know if it's because I had kids young, so I really couldn't be selfish. I was a 17-year-old mom, so I'm still working on that. Just being like, what about me? Like, don't forget about yourself.
Yeah. Because I'm like always like, who else is gonna bring me up?
Yeah.
Right? You have to be your own advocate
most of the time. But when it comes to setting boundaries with even family, it's challenging.
Yeah.
Is it challenging for you all to?
It was for me at a young age.
Yeah,
Once I learned what was going on, it wasn't challenging.
Not challenging it.
It was funny to hear my Puerto Rican family describe my Sicilian family, like from their eyes, and then to hear my Sicilian family describe my Puerto Rican family. And I'm like, y'all people are funny. Like, just because, like, they're the same people, but from a different perspective. I was interviewed for Open Buffalo. We had like a racial justice series. And one of the first questions that they asked me was like, when did you know about racism or like a class of cultures? And my answer was like the dinner table. And everyone was so shocked by that. But like, it was always like jokes going back and forth, or just like, I want pasta, or my Puerto Rican family coming over, like, where's the lasagna? Like stuff like that. But it was always kind of centered around food.
Food is good. I think
food is love. I feel like that's how somebody's like, how do you define love? I was like, food.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I'm looking forward to cooking a big meal when my kids get here in a couple of for Easter.
That's awesome.
I'm looking forward to that. I miss it. I miss my baby.
I have an air fryer now. I'm like, I'm frying. Like,
do you cook, Jerry?
We do the same amount of cooking.
You don't cook?
I bake. Because I like love treats. I'm like a sweet person. So I can bake. I can make like cupcakes, and I make pastelillos de guayaba and quesitos and stuff. Because I was tired of chasing girls around. I was like, I'm tired of chasing them around. I'm going to learn how to do it myself.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But mostly because I live by myself now.
Yeah. How is that? Maneuvering, living on your own, and parenting, and the loneliness, and because we're still adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel lonely?
Do I feel lonely?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a human being, so I guess so. There are times when I feel like that.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many times like I went to go sell my house because I was like, there's so much space here, and this would be such a blessing to people. Yeah. But I have to remind myself that that's my son's generational wealth. You know what I mean by sitting in that house by myself. And I put a picture, I think, on Facebook of like the house that the type of house my grandma came from, which is like a 1 room. There's an outhouse, 11 people, like a tin roof, like walls that is just whatever. And shout out to all my Puerto Ricans who are building our infrastructure, because like we build and it comes crumbling down. But sometimes I have to remind myself that that's where my equity is. Because when I bought my house, my grandma cried. She was crying because, you know, she didn't have her own bed or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just fill it with clothes and
Wow.
just be over here.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love hearing about breaking, you know, generational chains, or just, you know, being the first in your family to do something to make your family proud. Do you feel like your ancestors are looking down like, you are my greatest, you know, achievement, or you are exactly what I wanted for myself? Jake's like, yeah.
My ancestors?
Yeah, who are they?
Good question. I don't,
How old are they? That might give us a clue about how old you are.
Right.
I'm sure. My ancestors probably.
Yeah.
You know, I would think so. You know, my ancestors.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I would be.
You would. What about you?
I feel like my mom's Sicilian, and mostly Sicilian. So like my nana was Sicilian, and I just feel like I want to work hard enough, because at some point I'm gonna hear that I did it. So I'm gonna be like, I did the best I could, Nana.
Yeah.
Like this is it. So I just like want to kind of meet their expectation, because I had amazing women and men that came before me and did awesome things. So totally crazy. Like I just got into a part of my family, and like a part of my white family was here for the Revolutionary War, and I was like, I'm running. Like they were defending the nation. Like it was crazy. But for like my Puerto Rican side, you know, they came to us. So
do you feel like you've met your expectations?
I've exceeded them. Oh yeah, nobody thought I was gonna be shit. And they told me. They was like, what? ¿Tú? ¿Qué te pasa, nena? I was like, okay.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I maybe should be more humble about that, but
no,
that's really how I feel. I said that in the speech in front of City Hall.
Did you?
Yes,
really?
I did. And some people who have supported me, who have leadership roles in the community, were like, you know, we're encouraging you. I was like, no, it's not you. I'm talking about like when I was little, you know, and I used to be like, I'm going to be the boss. Papi was like, be a lawyer. I was like, whatever. So it was crazy. Yeah.
What about you, Jay? Are you exceeding your expectations for yourself?
No, I'm the complete opposite.
Good. Congratulations. We don't have the same answer.
My goodness.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near like my expectations are probably unrealistic, but that for me, that's what keeps me going. That's what, you know, it's part of my motivation.
You're hard on yourself.
Yeah,
I'm hard on myself too. Very. Yeah.
I feel like the world's hard on me. So I'm like,
makes sense.
but also I think to your point, one of the things I realized as an adult is if I want to continue to grow, I have to be open to learning new things, and that comes with adjustments. You know what I mean about like my present behavior. So, you know, I'm trying to stay open-minded.
This has been so awesome. What are we leaving the listeners with? What do you want to leave the listeners?
I feel like we should ask you a question.
Yeah.
I like to close my show like that. Okay, Jay, so ask her a question.
Ask me a question. Look at me, I'm nervous now.
I'm so excited.
What would you say sticks out the most as far as differences between Chicago and Buffalo?
Differences. Oh wow.
Not the Puerto Ricans.
No.
Because I know we're in both places.
Yeah. I would say Buffalo is not the easiest place to make a living.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest place to make a living. There's still a lot of racism here. Not that it's not in Chicago, but I find it easier to be able to take care of myself and my family in Chicago. So not so much accessibility. I guess it's more, the things that are around. There's a lot more that I can get into in Chicago. Even as far as schooling, like there's an actual media school in Chicago.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that I was going to go to, but then, you know, my mom got sick and everything, so that didn't work out. But,
okay, so your mom lived here.
Oh yeah, I'm from here. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I'm from here. But I'm glad. I mean, I'm not glad that my mom got sick, but I'm glad that it worked out because look where I ended
Yeah,
up.
everything in perfect timing, right?
Yeah.
I have such a good question. I feel like it's a two-parter.
Oh, go ahead.
What's
I
your
want to be interviewed. I want somebody to interview
I was
me.
like, don't go there and ask your questions, Talia. This is not your interview.
Oh, that is fine.
Okay, so what's your favorite leadership skill that you have? Right? I feel like you have a giving spirit, and that's leadership. And then my second thing is like, what would you say is like the thing that you want to leave people with, like the feeling that you want to leave people with? Because I feel like those could be different things.
Yeah. So my leadership school is definitely efficiency. I'm always
You do a lot.
Yeah. So I'm always looking for a more efficient way to do things, and I try to be fair. I look at and I've been management before, and some people may not like this, but when you are managing people, you have to also realize that they are not all the same.
Yeah.
There's different personalities. So that is definitely a great leadership quality that I have.
Yeah.
And I look at it like kids. I know that they aren't kids, but in my head, it's like, okay, you got to remember 6 kids, 6 different personalities.
For sure.
You know, if I'm managing 20 people, that's 20 different personalities.
Yeah.
So you can't lead everyone the same way. Some people need a little bit more hand holding. Some people, like you don't need to constantly hold my hand. If I get it, I get it.
I tell people I need you to repeat the directions.
Yeah.
I go into it like, prepare yourself.
Oh.
My second question is, what is the feeling you want to leave people with? Like when they see that you are so ready for that. I love that answer.
Yeah, because there's so many people that feel hopeless, and I remember feeling that way. And I remember after I got out of it, thinking to myself, I never want anybody to feel like this.
Yeah.
Never, ever want anybody to feel so hopeless to the point where you would be ready to take your own life.
Yeah.
Never want anybody to feel like that.
I think you're a great source of inspiration, and that's amazing that you shared that.
Yeah.
Do you have any? I know amazing question.
I don't want to
Thank
be
you
interviewed.
for thank you for being here. No, I try to
interviewing.
get you to come to my show. I'm salty. I'm like, you need to come back.
I will.
I know I need you to come back. But it's been a privilege to be here. And like I said, as your colleague and like part of the 716 family, it's been amazing to see your trajectory. So I'm so excited to see where you're going to go, and excited. I'm one of the guests. I'm going to sign the wall again. And I'm going to put a G, Talia G, guest experience. But seriously, thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. You're going to be up again. I'm going to have a women's panel up here soon.
Let's go.
Jay, you got to do the women's panel. Get up here with our wine and stuff like that and do it up. So
nice.
I need a pink wall or something.
Absolutely. Yeah, we could just come in with spray paint.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
So what I'm going to leave everyone with is whatever you couldn't do today, do it tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Just don't give up on yourself, no matter what. I'd like to say that because I feel like when we give up on ourselves, we give up on life. And you do not want to do that, regardless of what is going on. Just keep pushing. I promise you, it does get better. It gets better. Love you, long life. What about you, the Joker? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can't hear you. You want to leave them with something?
Yeah, just be blessed and do good and stay focused.
This has been an awesome experience. As usual, I love being here in the 716 Live studio. If you are interested in hosting your own podcast, make sure you email us at 716live@gmail.com, or you can hop in one of our DMs. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. If you are interested in, I don't know, maybe you have some music that you want to record and you don't know where to record this, listen, we got it right up here at the 716 Live Studios, okay? I'm telling you, you just have to come up here and feel the energy. You may get creative up here and be ready to go right then and there. We don't know. You don't know either, because you know what? You have not tried it out. So, like I was saying, if you are interested in being creative in these 2023 streets, make sure you hit up 716live@gmail.com. It has been a wonderful night. I love you, long life, and come back again. I'll see you on Sunday. Hey, baby.
The game